Alright, we've got our fan on. Another little problem some of the T-Rexes have is that the fan switch setup in the stock T-Rexes don't seem to be real reliable. So I came up with a switch that'll override the stock system. It'll have a little screw right under this little plug to set it at the temperature where you want the fan to come on, and then we've made this inline billet adapter to go in your radiator hose to screw your temperature switch in that attaches to our controller. So we're going to show you how to get that installed and how to get that all properly working, and plus there'll also be a bypass switch if you want to run it. It's an optional so that you can manually turn on your fan as well. Alright, we got our fan on. Of course that's optional. Not required to go with this adjustable switch, but I'm going to do an install on our adjustable switch here. First thing I'm going to do is mount the switch itself, relay, control box, whatever you want to call it, and I'm using some self-tapping screws. There's one down. Okay, that's the main thing, to get that dude bolted down. Then you want to just go ahead and plug in the harness that goes with it. Alright, get a text message. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect my ground up. This wire is a little too long for application. And cut it loose. Strip some wire. Got a ring connector, comes in the kit. Crimp it on. Ground that's just as good is one of your self-tapping screws. Actually on the Rhino, this is where I attached it at. Good as any. Alright. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim back some of this insulation on our fan wire. Alright, we're going to cut the factory wiring harness for the fan before the plug for the fan. Alright, I don't have anything better right here, but what you want to be concerned about is taping off or terminating some way the factory harness, because the factory stuff is still going to want to turn the fan on, but so that wire will be hot when it wants to do it. And you go ahead and you trim wire back. Alright, the next thing we're going to do, and I know this is going to sound strange, but we're going to wire in the red fused wire from the relay to the negative side of the battery. And the kit comes with some butt connectors to do this. I really suggest probably using solder and heat shrink, but in case you don't have that, I would use what's in the kit. Okay. Alright, now what I'm going to do here is probably most definitely not the way to do this. That's the way I'm going to do theirs. What I did is I trimmed back a little bit more insulation, and I doubled my end of my wire over to basically make it a little heavier wire to fit in this butt connector tighter. And check them. The next thing I'm going to do is the key hot wire. You may not be able to, it's be hard for me to get the camera in here, but you got your 12 volt plug-in inside on the dash that's keyed hot, and this, the only purpose of this wire is to turn on the relay, so it's not going to really be drawing much current. And they got these Scotch locks, and what you do is there's a red and a black. You're going to slide it on one side over the wire. Okay, once it's over the wire on the outside, you simply slide your yellow wire up into it till it bottoms out. And I take a pair of pliers and just make sure that your yellow wire is up in there all the way. And then push the metal tab down in there. Make sure everything's snug, and a lot of times I like to twist the Scotch lock on there just to make sure it's getting good contact.